Welcome back to the Watch Our Film Podcast, the film review podcast on the Towercast Network. By Cinephiles, for Cinephiles. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen.
Woo! Are we cinephiles, or was it just like all the conspiracy?
It might have been just a plot of the government to make us want to watch films and not be invested in the discourse of our country.
We're not real.
24 frames per second.
We haven't been real.
Photography, film is photography,
you're not real
man.
with that haircut.
24 times a second. We're back, ladies and gentlemen. We're continuing our directorial debut series. If you're joining us this week, thank you for joining us last week for our Guy and Madeline on a park bench.
Directors aren't real.
Directors aren't real. They're really not. We're continuing directorial debuts. This one's kind of a cheat, but we'll talk about it.
I was about to say
it's kind of a cheat, but we'll talk about it.
I'll describe it another way, but go on.
Cheating subjective.
Before we commence the conversation, I'd like to have some time to encourage you all to please like, subscribe, comment, and share. I've seen a lot of more people commenting. Somebody commented on our Spotify today about an episode from like a long time ago. So that's cool that everybody's going back.
Yeah,
I saw another comment.
They found the one with
which one?
with Head. What's the film?
Oh, the two guys.
Primer.
Yeah, the two guys.
They found that one and they commented on that.
Head's not real.
No, he's not. Thank you guys for checking out everything. But
what's with the hiccups, brother?
I don't know. It just came out of nowhere. In the meantime, we also want to let you guys know to come join us July 10th at the Plaza Theater.
If it happens.
In downtown El Paso. It's got
bummer over here.
Downtown El Paso, Plaza Theater. We're going to have a grand old time celebrating our 10-year anniversary of Tower.
Please check it out.
We've been really planning everything to a T. It's been really cool.
I didn't do shit.
Okay. We're going to have special
positivity.
Special surprises, I should say. That's all I can say.
It's going to be
but we're going to have a good time. We're going to celebrate together. And this is, I've been having this conversation with people that thankfully everyone in the film community that we've spoken to about this event see it the way we see it, that this isn't just about celebrating Tower, it's about celebrating cinema and celebrating making film in El Paso specifically, and that's really in the borderland.
It's so hot.
It is, bro.
But we are celebrating just making films in the borderland, and that's a big deal to us, and we want to share that with everybody, not just limited to filmmakers, but artists, musicians, and everybody in the arts community. We tend to fight the same battles a lot of the time, so we want to celebrate together.
We're all artists,
and it's completely free of charge. We just want people to come out and hang out.
Everything should be free.
Absolutely. It's all a construct. So we really want to invite you out. Please come out. Bring your grandma, bring your mom, bring your cousins, and everybody to come celebrate cinema with us. Yeah.
I think you need to get to De La so we could get him in the right positive vibe. Because I don't know, he needs some attention.
I really enjoy that whoever watches the video aspect of this are really going to enjoy it. Because 70% of this intro has just been Delal's camera. Just...
It's not real.
Mr. Michael Lillo offering a cinematography perspective.
I can't go any longer.
Damn, poor women.
Come on, man. What's in your mind? On your mind, in your mind?
I was thinking, man, about how, I was dreaming, and I was on the bus. And in the bus dream, normally I'm dreaming about talking to Hemingway and,
Normally you're dreaming about dream buses.
Yeah, no. And then this time I was dreaming about just sitting in the bus. And I was thinking that, if I never got off the bus, then I'd still be in the bus. And then after that, maybe I'd Uber and then I'd get here. And then, I have my own car. Why am I in the bus? Why is anybody in the bus? Are we all traveling together? Is the bus life, or is Tower just a construct made by Carlos and Austin to suppress you, the working man, and the proletariat? Kennedy was a president. That's confirmed from what I know. History.
Or maybe you're a fucking moron. Ricky Rodriguez, fellow writer-director.
Hello, fellas.
This guy.
Offering his opinion on this matter. You got anything for that, Rick?
Not for that.
a tough follow-up right there.
Mr. Austin T. Young. Make sure we're sounding good on the ones and twos, offering a producing and editing perspective.
So my friend sent me this.
I can't see that. What is that, tape?
Exactly. It's like a pubic hair of Sydney Sweeney.
Nice. I love it. I love
Tell
You
it.
guys
to you.
interested? Yeah, yeah.
I showed it to a guy last week, and he took one of them, so there's only one left.
I'll swing a bargain. I'll swing a bargain. The black as can be. What does she say?
I said I'd give it back.
I was gonna strike a deal with you, man, but I guess, you know,
You guys gonna miss it out.
I gotta leave because there's somebody interested.
Mr. Jean-Eric Castro offering an acting perspective.
Jean.
Talk about pubic hairs. This is another. Oh, sorry. I wasn't gonna talk
Oh,
to
he
you
was
about.
dreaming too. That's cool.
Yeah. How you guys doing?
I'm your humble film servant, Carlos. I'm the author offering a legendary perspective, and we're here to continue our directorial debut series. Specifically, in this episode, we're going to be talking about Richard Linklater's Slacker, 1990.
More like Sonder.
In all fairness to the series, in all transparency, this isn't Richard Linklater's directorial debut. Technically,
what are we doing then?
Because he directed an 8mm film, like a super 8mm
No,
film.
well, he's got two of them prior to this one.
Where?
Well, that's what I'm looking at.
I think one of them's a
says
short.
What shot?
Yeah, one of
The
them's
other
a short.
says, it's impossible to learn to plow
it's a
by
short.
reading
Yeah,
books.
true.
Yeah, that thing's like he doesn't. Nobody really counts that one.
True.
That's just where he's been. But Slacker really was one that broke him through and got him some attention to be able to make the next thing. I mean, quite literally, the next film he made was Dazed and Confused. So, like, This was really like his first big thing where he really had. I mean, as he puts it, he like stole equipment from the local film school, borrowed tracks and dollies and
How you're supposed to do it, man, as an
wires
independent filmmaker.
and they shot this entire thing with 6 lights. And remember, this is 1989, so at the time, 6 lights are,
Pretty expensive.
you know, so it's a big deal. And not to mention the film stock to be able to shoot a film like this. So a lot of people don't know is that Linklater was like had a 9 to 5 before he got into film. Like for a long time, like he was working in oil rigs and doing odd jobs, like for like
Interesting.
10 years. And he was just making like a ton of shorts, like just practicing and wanting to be a filmmaker. And he wasn't solely focusing on film. He liked everything. He liked philosophy and books, and he didn't know what he wanted to do. And then he would just kind of save money. He was making a ton of money in oil rigs and other odd jobs. So he just saved a bunch of money. And by the time he got to Slacker, he kind of, asked for grants and asked for favors, but it was a ton of his money that he just saved up to make a film. Then he started attending, before Slacker, he started attending like retrospectives and started going to like art house cinemas and started kind of getting exposed to that. And that's really where he was like, I think I can do this. Like, I really
Do you
wanna
think
do
this is the film that started the indie boom? I guess
It's certainly one of them.
Kevin
I mean,
Smith,
this film, like Kevin on this podcast, believe it or not, directly and for his whole career gives credit to Slacker specifically.
Slacker.
Kevin from New Jersey was in proximity, very close to New York. So him and his buddy would drive to the Angelica Center in New York, and in the Village Voice, in a magazine newspaper, they saw, Slacker, this thing sounds cool. And they drove to New York at the Angelica and screened Richard Linklater's Slacker. And from there, he was like, I can make a film. And that's where Clerks was born. So, yeah, Linklater directly inspired a lot of people. This film showed at the 91 Sundance.
Can I borrow your thing?
Not on the podcast.
Oh,
This?
yeah.
So, yeah, directly influenced everybody who came after it.
you could definitely see a couple of
And was definitely part of the 90s indie boom. You know, the Rodriguez's and the Tarantinos and the Kevin
Exactly.
Smiths. And this was definitely part of that conversation. So, Richard Linklater Slacker.
Yeah.
I'm going to start with that one over there.
yeah, man. Because I'm gonna be rough.
We're starting with you.
starting with the mad scientist yourself.
Should we start back here?
You open it from the wrong side.
Should we?
What
should-
side do
No,
you
we
open it
start
from?
back here.
Just slide it
We
out.
should go with you guys. First.
Oh, I'm so stupid. I was like, how do you unlock the movie? I didn't realize it was like a book.
You gotta sing to it, brother.
I have a lot to say.
Do you know?
We just need your rating.
For now, yeah. Rapid fire, and then we could get into the details.
Spins. 9.6.
9.6. Whoa.
Yep.
Was not expecting that.
I wasn't expecting this movie.
Interesting.
Yep.
What?
So good.
All right. Mr. Rick, where you at?
What's the correct rating?
I'll tell you right now. Don't worry.
I'll go.
Don't be intimidated by his rating.
Nah,
You
and I'm
do you.
not, I just want to make sure I can hit it pretty decent. I'm gonna go. I'll go an 8.7.
8.7.
I go an 8.7. Yeah.
Wow.
I was.
Nah, y'all
I was
being
not
influenced.
expecting that high from anybody, any of you guys.
Yeah. I wanted to go high. I didn't want to go too high, but it was fantastic. It was really good, actually. Not likable characters or storyline, but like shot well for what it was. Very good.
Where are you at, Mr. Young?
Mr. Austin Young.
I'm at an 8.9.
8.9.
Very nice.
What?
You still think you got the right rating?
Yeah, I do, bro. I absolutely do. I'm close to IMDb.
I'm totally kidding. Where you at? Where's IMDb at? 7?
Ah, man, I found it a little bit aimless, to say the least.
Homeless.
Yeah, maybe for people with
What was your
capacity.
20s like, Castro?
That's a big word for people like you.
Wow.
No, yeah, I mean, the first thing I look at is the acting, the performance, and yes, I understand what Richard Linklater was trying to do, but I'll talk about it a little bit more. But yeah, I found it. I know what he was trying to do. I could see it, but
But he didn't succeed.
he just pondered too much on shots. The conversations. I know they're kind of unique, and it shows you that everybody thinks they're the main character, but I don't know. I'm sitting at a 6.8.
6.8.
Yeah,
All
6.8
right.
right now.
Carlos.
Love it.
Man, this is my third time screening it. I'm gonna go 8.7. I'm gonna go 8.7, and I feel like that's me trying to like reduce to where it's all at, because again, we talk a lot about this podcast being an exploration of all of their cinema and whether
Yeah.
there's been growth and whether there hasn't, and that kind of thing, and where we put this right. So I think it's a massive contribution to cinema. I'll start there. And I think an 8.7 for me feels right, because nobody was really doing this. And Linklater was inspired by a lot of foreign cinema to just break the rules and kind of create his own. And this is so unapologetically that. This is philosophy and poetry wrapped up into this film. But I also think most importantly, which is my favorite kind of cinema, this is such an incredible portrait into somebody else's life and a lot of people's lives.
Yeah.
And it's also like the drive for me, seeing it again this time, was like, oh, so we're just really exploring what makes people tick. And man, I love that. You get to see what makes somebody tick.
Tick or their obsession, their
Well,
reality through
kind of the
obsession.
same thing, right? I mean,
Yeah.
and what's real and how they perceive the world, and that's so hard to do with one character, let alone a collection of people who feel very real and feel like you bump into them on the street, and that's kind of the point. And maybe you start caring about them after a little while, and
But
maybe
you don't get enough of it. I think that's what he was trying to do, right?
No,
As soon
I
as you
don't
get
think
interested,
so. Yeah. Kind of
we're
kick it off. to the
passing
next
it on to the
yeah.
next one, yeah.
I think so. I think that's very intentional, and again, it's kind of groundbreaking, and it can be very jarring. I remember the first time I screened it, I too was like, I just knew Slacker. I genuinely think this was either my first or second. Let's go with second. This was my second Criterion I ever bought. Like, I was just curious about this film for a long time before I was even really a true like Linklater fan. I just was obsessed with like this cover, and it was on multiple lists, and the whole like 1,000 films you should watch before you die, and the top 500 this and that, and it just always kept popping up. And naturally, being a big fan of Kevin Smith and him like praising it was like, this is interesting. And it's so much so that Kevin, when we were here, I spoke to Kevin about Clerk, the documentary about the making of Clerks.
Yeah.
And Richard Linklater's in that documentary, like speaking highly of Kevin and speaking highly of the indie boom and that kind of thing. So before I knew any of that, I just knew Slacker was being tossed around, and that cover's so iconic. And I remember just going in blindly. And after going in blindly, I swear halfway through the film, I paused it and was like, is this it? Is this what it, like, we're just following, it's just jumping from person to person? And at first glance, I was like, I'm not getting this. Like, I'm not attaching to a character. And then once I Googled it halfway through the first screening, I was like, oh shit, that's all right. Now I can screen this with like, okay, we're gonna go to the next person, we're going to the next person. I think that's so cool. I just thought it was so original and something I never
definitely
quite
is.
saw in cinema. There's versions of this, don't get me wrong, especially in the French New Wave and Italian neorealism, but not like this. Nothing I've ever seen like this. So I give a lot of credit to that. I think an 8.7 is warranted. And oh God, man, I mean, for it to be, it's just awe-inspiring to someone like me who a Texas filmmaker makes this. I remember Kevin when he was here, he said, when I saw Slacker, I thought it was this, buttfuck town in Texas. And then I discovered, it's Austin, the capital of Texas.
Right.
And now that we're kind of in Austin a lot more, scouting and doing some stuff, it's like cool. It makes it real, like the Continental Club's in there and the Capitol and a bunch of stuff that we're kind of looking at. And
Can I say something?
yeah,
Are we praising it because of how it was made or because of its content?
I think
Content.
both. I
Yes,
think both.
obviously it's
I'd say
content.
more
I'm
than
not
anything.
really talking bad about it. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
after, 30-something years now, do you think it still holds up?
Yes, I think this is one of those films that like
It's
when
a good one to show you, Linklater's
Yeah.
career and his evolution,
Yeah.
but would you
Let me-
definitely put it in the top 100 that they must see?
Yes.
Because you could always substitute it for something Kevin Smith did, who kind of did it a little bit better.
What with Clerks?
Exactly.
I think so. I
Or
think,
Mallrats.
Dude, I think Slacker and Clerks are telling two completely different stories.
and they're also like
No,
they're,
I
absolutely.
agree. I
absolutely.
think Clerks is a higher form of cinema than something like that.
they're close
I agree with
cousins. They're close
No,
cousins,
you
but
could
I
see
mean,
the
if we
the
really
influence
like
of it.
put these two like hand in hand or against each other in a sense, I think Clerks simplified the intention, but I think Slacker opens up the world a lot more. I think Slacker explores more humanity than Clerks does. I think Clerks is
100%.
funny.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
I think Clerks is funny and it's got heart and it's got intentionality behind just these random conversations. I think what I like about Slacker is that it's this window into people, into humanity at its finest. And, you define that word however you want in terms of finest. But I think that's what I like about it is what's making people tick in real time in a city like Austin where it's so versatile. And there's people quite literally in every little aspect of the spectrum, whether it's politics or religion or philosophy or the right thing to do versus the wrong thing to do, like when the lady got hit with the car and who,
Even aliens.
aliens. I mean, I genuinely think it's a really interesting exploration of humanity. And I hate to liken it to this because I know I did this last episode, but what I like about this one is similar to a guy in Madeline for me. I think it's a museum piece. I don't know that it's the biggest thing in the exhibit of Linklater or cinema. Let's call it cinema. I don't know if it's the biggest thing in the exhibit, but I think it belongs as a museum piece, as like one of those interactive museum pieces that you lift up the flap to see something cool, and it's like, oh, that's cool, and then you kind of move on to the next thing.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that exploration of this being a museum piece. Is it Citizen Kane or is it Casablanca? I don't know. Maybe it deserves to be talked about in a different way. And when we reach this era of cinema, I certainly think it's one of the most innovative and interesting films I've seen of this era of cinema.
I just like part of the reason why I rated it so high. I mean, I think once you start dipping into nines, I think that this is something that is not only starting to reach the realm of innovative, but also
Yeah.
that you can learn from. And I mean, this is the things I would like say. Oh, we're throwing this in the classroom because at this point,
Right.
there's so much to be gained from it. I mean, for one, it's just got an incredibly intricate dialogue and dynamics,
Yeah.
and I mean. If anything, I feel like this is less of a singular film and more of like if we're gonna have small like exercises in dialogue and just spread them out over and over and over again. Like I can imagine he started with the first one and then took some time away and then came back and thought of a new conversation that he heard on the street and then added that one and added that one.
Yep.
And we're constantly doing these little beats and these little memories. And at first, a lot of them start off as these like oneers where it's just like
I was
we're gonna
about to
have
mention
one
it.
shot and it tracks them, and then later on they become these more intricate things. Like when we start getting to the point where that dude invites the three girls to the show, then we start getting multiple shots and multiple angles because now it's like it's one person's life affecting other people's lives, affecting other people's lives, and I just think that the concept that the film's exploring is Sonder, which if you don't know what Sonder is, it's just I don't know if it's realization or the consciousness that other people are also conscious and having their own lives.
Right.
Like, and that's something that people explore in like philosophy and poetry and art is just like the whole realization that beyond you, there's a universe. And a lot of times whenever we watch movies, you could call it an exploration of Sonder, but it's like one person's perspective. And I feel like to be able to show this where, at first, if you do something, then it's like a motif. But then if you keep repeating it, I feel like to this extent, then it becomes reflective. Yeah. And I think that's what I really enjoyed about it. And I mean, part of my rating is also just, it's very much in my wheelhouse. But it becomes this reflective piece that begs for you to go beyond the screen. Because film. I feel like even after the film's over, I could go walking in the street and then I feel more conscious about everybody and everything that's going on. And I think that's so interesting because for me, not only was it like a movie that I was entertained by because there's genuinely some funny moments or interesting moments, but then like it lingers. It lingers in this very existential way. And I think that in and of itself is a tactic that filmmakers could look at this film and say, what were the tools they used that reached?
That's what I was going to say. Like, in terms of it accomplishing that motive, on the technical front, one of the most interesting things I read is that traditionally in a film, in a 90-minute feature film, you have anywhere between 500 to 1,000 cuts, right? That's kind of where you're driving the cuts forward. This one had 143 cuts. 143. Almost, 10-15% of what a traditional film has. And it's accredited to a lot of the oneers, and it's accredited to a lot of very strategic lingering moments. But
that's where I kind of like rated kind of low. The lingering is, I think you could chop off a little bit of the
But
fat.
I think when you're using cuts to move a story forward,
right,
you're aware you're watching a film. Where this is adopting more cinema verite, more documentary to kind of immerse you in the world.
Because whenever you look at these long, lingering moments, because we're sitting there longer, you're given a lot more time to process there in real time without being able to like hide away from the camera. But reactions and everything.
But at the same time, you're kind of hoping the audience is intrigued by these random.
You weren't. The way I liken this is like when you're sitting.
There's some that were just kind of like.
Well, the way I liken it is like when you're sitting in a cafe or a restaurant, and you can't help like somebody's talking so loud that you start listening to their conversation.
And when you
start eavesdropping, and when you do, you start like getting interested in the conversation.
And when that
happens, you're not processing it like. Okay, this person. I'm going to focus on that person. Then when this person talks, I'm going to start. You're seeing this. You're seeing the wide, and you're kind of just staring at this two-person conversation. And I think that's what this is doing. It's not like forcing you to like do.
And like,
I'm just sitting here staring at people talk. I hope they don't think I'm weird.
Yeah, but it's also my bad.
Go ahead.
It's also at the same time the director. To me, I feel like since I give it a lower rating, I feel like the director's giving the audience. It's making them observe and be entertained.
God, what a treat! I mean, it's setting you in a place where, again, yes, a good amount of film is meant to be entertaining, but this is meant to be reflective, and this is meant to be an exploration. And like I look at this like an incubator or like a what are those, the art ant farms? Like I see, like this is what this film is like you get to pick this up and you're looking at everything move, and you're kind of it's its own form of entertainment in a sense, but it's not traditional action. And packed cut.
Yes,
cinema.
And that's why it's experimental, and I see what he was going with, and I could see the impact it made.
The maximum of this thing on the entertainment scale, and we give a lot of praise to him, but I mean, I give this so much more reverence. It's like Pulp Fiction. Pulp Fiction is an example of a bunch of these at moments it doesn't feel connected in any way. But
absolutely.
It's these individual characters going through moments where they're not going through a major action, and they're just having conversations. But then what they do is that to break it up, Tarantino likes to add his add some tension in the moment, add a conflict, add that. And
that's where I think.
But Tarantino is actively trying to entertain you. Actively is aware this is a movie, and I want you to have fun, and I want to manipulate your emotions to entertain you. This isn't quite that.
This is not trying to give you something; it's trying to ask you something, and that's what I really appreciate. Because even in like this scene, right, where the guy's coming home, he just stole some other dude's paper. He's coming back and his girlfriend's like, well, we should go outside. And he's like, how about we just like don't do that because the sun's just there to oppress us, and his hippy dippy shit. But then I feel like in those moments, you're there long enough to ask yourself who's right and who's wrong. And you're caring and you're wondering like, wait a minute, I didn't even know this guy at first. I think this guy's a jerk because he stole a paper. And then he also wants to like, I don't know, like
oppress his girlfriend.
Be romantic with his girlfriend. Like it's weird.
Is
and then,
he though?
Is he bad or is he good? And then the girl's there, and like, is she bad? Is she good? Does anybody even have a point to all this? And I feel like then right when we're left in that question, right before we get bored or there's not enough there to jump onto, it says, let's go to the next example.
Feels like a bit of a kaleidoscope. And I think, Astro, you said something earlier that I thought was interesting. You said that you were like, I said something to the effect of like, this is very Linklater. And you were like, oh God, there's more. And he, I saw a lot of like, we were talking about the other directors, Linklaterisms, if you will.
Right.
Things like from the Before trilogy where we're walking behind the two people.
More than anything, you're more intrigued in the actual story than what's going on around.
Right. Yeah. And I see a lot of that, but I kind of highly encourage people to, if you enjoyed this format of things and you like animation too, or rotoscoping, you watch his films Waking Life and A Scanner Darkly with Keanu Reeves.
Oh, yeah, he did that?
He did those two films. Wow. Yeah, that's him. But it's very much in this style. It's very much like bouncing from people to people and exploring these conversations and exploring these perspectives. And Waking Life, I think that one's a little more closer to this one than Scanner Darkly. But Waking Life is it's exactly this. Where like almost like through the cosmos, jumping from people to people, and that's cool because you have like Julie Delpy and Ethan Hawke, and then you have the dude from the kid from Dazed and Confused in there, and you have a bunch of these like actors that he's worked with. But it's very much this. It's very much like I didn't realize his daughter's in it too. I didn't realize it's very much like bouncing into people's lives and bedrooms and perspectives. And this is very much a Linklater tactic. It's something that very much interests him, is to just like, I kind of just want to learn about people, and I kind of want to show what the conversations I've heard in the cafe.
Well, I guess me as a film enthusiast or as a film intaker, if that's even a thing, I need a story. I need.
You need structure
not so much structure, but a point. And I know that I'm not saying that this doesn't have a point, but it doesn't have a plot, if you will. Right?
You know
it doesn't really. Like? It's more of a dialogue driven.
To me, I would never buy a textbook for entertainment, but I would definitely pick one up if I need to learn something. I'd equate it to that, you know.
This guy,
if you want to get like a novel and have something short that entertains you, that's good. But then this one, to me, I feel like I know what I'm... Like, if I was to revisit the film, I know what I'm getting into.
Yeah, this is Marcus Aurelius's meditations, as more than it is, I don't know, The Hunger Games or whatever novel you want to place there.
If I look at every single person's life that he visits, there's something to be gained from it. There's something in the dialogue and all that.
Okay, yes, for sure, but that's anybody that's not you, right?
But isn't that fascinating to you to be able to step out of your own bones and live someone else's life for 2 minutes?
But you can go do that outside and do that.
No.
Do you?
No.
Also,
okay.
Cinema allows that for you. Cinema allows you to do it in a safe space where there's not a ton of pressure. And
also, there's a very specific character in all of these people. All these people, I mean, as much as it's like the conspiracy theorists, all these people are wondering what the point of all this is. They're wondering, why are we here? They're wondering who's watching us, and we're not watching them.
And they swear they're right.
And everybody swears they're right, and everybody's like just trying to be heard. And at the end of the day, I think what happens is that even in your own life, there's a moment where you're like, oh, I got to do this, and I got to do that, and I got to pick up this, and then I got to eat, and then I got to go here, and all that kind of stuff. And you get so self-absorbed in your own things. It's not till like something like this comes and disrupts your frequency
Mm-hmm.
that you're able to explore this idea that you never maybe even wanted to.
Yeah.
But it's so disruptive.
For sure.
And in a way, at times I feel like it's almost punk rock in the way
Yeah,
it just
it
wants
is.
to like say,
Very punk rock.
I'm going to take you away from everything you have right now and just ask you to sit down, watch it. And if you
Observe it.
genuinely engage,
Yeah.
you're going to be exploring life more than you are the film. And I think that's where I sit. Where
If
I'm-
a good, if a
That's
good
good.
amount of the characters are, and they are, a good amount of the characters, 60% of these characters, I'd say, are anti-establishment,
Oh, yeah.
they're super punk rock,
Anti-government,
but
yeah.
so is the film on the traditional film industry, right? It's a punk rock anti-establishment. I'm not just going to show you these characters. I'm going to make a film that shows you that we can also consume cinema a lot differently than your
It's
traditional
going against
films.
the norms of any film that you see.
That's
There's
pretty good.
Three
act structure.
play, and then there's an inciting incident,
Right.
and then Linklater doesn't do that.
Also, as an actor, I feel like how often are you looking at movies and saying that they could have done so much better to create an authentic character? They don't feel real or believable. And here you're getting like what feels like hundreds of examples of real people.
You know what's cool about this film is in
Yeah.
terms of the acting, most of the actors, oddly enough, which I found fascinating, again, especially in the stage where I'm at right now, just mentally, most of these actors are musicians. Like they're just like they come from indie bands. Like the
Indie
Pap
bands.
Smear, the Madonna Pap Smear chick was a drummer for
But also,
the surfing assholes, or what are they called? The surfing buttholes. I'm not bullshitting, but they're a popular band.
Was
the
it-
Butthole Surfers. They're the Butthole Surfers. She's the drummer of that band.
Can we say that on YouTube?
I don't know.
Yeah, we could.
We can now.
What's the other one too? The
Ligmas.
losers, the ultimate losers.
The Ultimate Losers is that guy's band. No, but a lot of these, like by the way, that the Pap Smear girl, this is the only film she's ever done ever. This is the first and last film she ever did. You know, or like yeah. Toy Dog Pondering, the Happy Go Lucky guy is the lead singer of that band. Like they're just a bunch of musicians, and like the way I like to think of it is like Austin is full of these artist types. It's like the New York of Texas, I think. And like New York has this the Village and Bob Dylan and at this time and place where artists were living together and talking together, and Austin still feels like that. Austin, you
kinda
walk
like Seattle.
kind of like Seattle, yeah. Like you have this
No,
thing
but
where people are
Austin's the music festival, the music capital, yeah.
and you're having people just walk around and have these conversations, and we've had these conversations with people in Austin.
But that's the beauty of the craft of acting. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you get a good enough actor, I know this is why he didn't have a budget and he was able to.
Yeah.
But that's the beauty of acting. Like, you'll be able to create those type of characters more authentic if you want, but I could still tell like they didn't know how to end the scene,
Sure.
and you know.
But maybe that's what this needed, right?
For
This is what
sure.
this needed. I think
Do you
that,
think
that
if there was less characters, you would have appreciated? Because I think something like Dazed and
No,
Confused
right.
is the same concept, the same style.
But
the
it
only
still
difference
revolves
is
around,
you
like, the
stay
school.
on like 4 or 5 characters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As opposed to, I mean, I get it. There's probably nobody in this film that you'd want to play. Like, there's no character jumped out to you like, I could play.
Yeah.
that.
I
Nobody
think
comes
that's-
out for 10 seconds and then they're gone.
I think that's what I love
And
about.
I see what he was trying to do. That's why, yeah.
I think that's what I love about Linklater. What
Yeah.
I love about Linklater is he's not
Never
going to
seen that.
follow your structure. Like he's going to go from this a non-traditional experimental film with non-actors and do an incredible job, and then he's going to go to Dazed and Confused, a studio film where there's a plot and there's structure, and that's not even super plotty, but
Right,
Yeah.
but it still
there's
revolves.
It feels inherently cinematic. It feels like a movie. And this feels like an art house film.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about Linklater. He'll go do School of Rock and then do Blue Moon. Like, I love that about Linklater because that, as a director, that scares the hell out of
Or
me.
like he did Hitman,
Yeah, he did Hitman, and then he did
Ballsy shit.
Apollo 10 and a half, and then he did, like,
and then he goes and does Nouvelle Vague.
Novo Vague. Yeah, like,
Yeah.
I love that about Linklater.
That
I
is
want
pretty cool.
I
That
want to
is pretty
emulate
cool.
that
And
career because
just jump off with
this
one-
Texas kid not following the rules and quite frankly saying, like, oh yeah, I've been in movie jail. And dude, like Last Flag
did
Flying.
Bernie, dude.
Last
Come on.
Flag Flying in terms of acting. Dear God, there's nothing better I've seen these three in.
You keep telling me about that one. Yes.
And again, this is a movie. This is a dramatic Hollywood film. And these performances are incredible.
And these are both,
and
like,
then
at
he
their
turns
peak.
around and does Hitman, a fun hitman CIA
Spy
thing
movie,
film,
yeah.
kind of spy movie, but offbeat spy movie. It's not really a spy movie.
Yeah, true.
It's fun, and I kind of love that about Linklater, man. Like he doesn't have to. If I had a conversation with Linklater about cinema, dear God, will he put me through the ringer? Because he's a cinephile and a true cinephile. He knows these guys, the Bergmans and the filmmakers. Even I haven't jumped deep into, but he also knows how to have a good time, and he knows entertainment.
And I feel
know?
like when he does these films, like, what is it called? The Before series or Slacker.
Sheesh, yeah.
Oh, man, you just mentioned it. Dazed and Confused.
Dazed and Confused?
When you look at those, I feel like it's less of a story, and he's exploring a word or a phrase. And I love that using cinema not as like this tool to, again, a lot of directors and a lot of people use it as a tool to entertain you. Say, I'm going to get it and I'm going to entertain you.
And
And
a
I
lot-
mean,
that's-
recently we've been having a big conversation about like Obsession.
Right.
And Obsession as a film that is meant to go out and entertain you and grab your attention and
Does that.
you
Does
know,
his job, for sure.
make you want to like show it to your friends and all that. It does a great job. But as far as like being able to say like, use this as a way to explore Sonder, or use this as a way to explore marriage. Use this as a way to explore coming of
you
age.
put me onto like that. Obsession is exploring this obsessive, unhealthy, toxic relationship thing, and that's cool. That's cool, but I genuinely think the director was just trying to entertain. I think Harry Barker was just trying to entertain. I heard Kevin say this on the podcast recently, where he's like, "Those Obsession kids are cool." He's like, because at the bare minimum, he brought back the wish aspect to cinema. And like, when's the last time you saw a film that's like, I wish upon a star, or I wish upon a rock, or whatever, the wish aspect, the wishing, what is it called? The wishing willow.
The wishing willow, yeah.
So like that, when's the last time you saw that in cinema? And he's like, at the bare minimum, it's a cool idea to bring back. Like, that's so inherently cinematic to watch a film where somebody like Big or whatever, that somebody wishes
I
for
grew
something.
up on Big, man.
So like, to see that in a film is cool again. He's like, outside of that, it was cool and it was fun, and the kid loved it, like his daughter. The kid loves it. But, it's cool, and I'm happy for those guys, and that's where I stay with that. And I think, like, there is a point to entertain, and quite frankly, unbeknownst to a lot of people, that's what brings people back to the theaters. We're not mad at that. But when cinema can also flip the coin and say, hey, I'm going to use this as a tool to explore a theme that nobody gives a shit about or is too afraid to ask this question, I'm going to do it. And, God, man, it's so hard because, again, you and I have talked about this, Custer. You're actively fighting against people who don't want you to do that because it loses money and it loses interest and you won't get people through the doors.
Because we've heard multiple times that if you want to make a film and you want to be successful, either make it a horror or a kids film, because both those sell and do them well, and you'll get people in seats and all that kind of stuff. And are you exploring your max potential? Are you doing the most that you can? Probably not. But you're giving it your all. Like, I mean, we just a while back you showed me like the episode of like The Studio, and they were making the Kool-Aid movie, and the guy who also directed the Muppet movie, what's his name?
Jason Segel.
Was it Jason Segel that was pitching it? Where he says like, so the movie's gonna be this, that the Kool-Aid Man actually has a Kool-Aid family, and there's a daughter.
No, that's not. Yeah.
It's not Jason Segel, but it's
Yeah. But, was saying like, so they're going to have like a Kool-Aid family, and then the daughter gets lost and all this kind of stuff. And then at the very end, they realize that being Kool-Aid is cool. And like, that was a joke in the show, but it was meant to show like, that's what's successful. Like, that's what's going to work. That's what's going to get people in theaters. That's what people are going to have fun with.
Some of the most important art and cinema in the existence of this medium was just two people sitting in a room talking, exploring a theme about. We just covered Ingmar Bergman's Seventh Seal, right, where it's exploring death in this fascinating way.
My type of film.
Well, yeah, but is it massively plotty? I don't know. I think it's massively asking you a question of death.
Right.
And we got to let cinema breathe in those spaces too. And I think you're absolutely right, Gaston, in terms of, you're not going to screen this for your family who likes plot-heavy films. You're not going to, and they're not going to dig it.
My dad that likes Jurassic Park, he's not going to
dig this.
All right, man, you guys were cool. Now it seems like you guys are just kicking me now. Come on.
No, not you.
These guys
we
over
mean
here.
we mean just
It's
anybody
not,
who's going to see
colorful photos and
It's
No,
not.
it's because
I like some plot. You know what I'm saying?
no, I think it's less about like attacking you and more.
Nah, I'm fucking around.
Yeah. But I just feel like I can see the space for this, and I'll be honest, like
For sure,
even
not-
me
not
when
hearing this
I've
conversation.
when I've explored a lot of like script ideas in my own head, and like things I want to write or things I want to try to film, and do them in these small scales. I think a lot of what I'm exploring is less of these cool sequences and more like this, So
wow. I need to get
genuinely,
there.
like I've had these like multiple thoughts and all that kind of stuff of
Where it's more.
I'll give you a brief example. Who knows if this will go anywhere? But the last one I was thinking of is New Year's, and the whole notion of like people meeting up at a party and people like talking about how they want to like have this resolution, and one guy basically being like,
I'm already interested.
it's like it's too much pressure, and talking to his buddy and saying like, dude, like if I put that in motion, what am I really putting in motion? Am I putting the idea in motion, or am I putting pressure on myself, and then I'm also going to put that failure in motion, and that's going to destroy my self-esteem? But if I make no resolution, then did I just waste it? Like now it's just Monday, and like what does that mean?
Yeah.
And then that whole,
I think we all go through that. Yeah.
the whole film ends with his buddy being like, hey, there's this girl who winked at me. I'm gonna go check her out. And dude, don't overthink it. And then that's how the film ends.
Isn't
But
that
like,
what Linklater's character, the opening scene, is exploring in this film? Is like, yeah, man. So I had this dream on the bus, and I'm driving down.
That's every time I'm thinking of a script idea or I'm thinking of anything, I'm genuinely thinking of these characters. Like so much. Like I just feel like I'm always thinking of stuff in this vein. Like the one I really connected with in a Linklater film was
all right.
no, in Dazed and Confused, he's not the nerdy kid, but he's the guy who hangs out with the guy with glasses, and the one who gets in a fight and loses.
Yeah, the guy from
And
Friends.
He's like, I relate to him so much. Where he's like, well, dude, maybe like I gotta do something. Like it's already over. Like, what am I supposed to feel something? Like, what's the point of life? Is it just to like sit back? And then he says, no, now I gotta live with the shame of knowing that I just got pushed around. Like now I'm angry. And he's like, and now I gotta do something with that. And then he gets his ass kicked. And he's like, yeah, but at least it didn't look like I fully lost. Like I at least tried to put up a fight. It's like
That guy, yeah.
that's every character in my head. Like,
Nice.
So I don't know. I really identify with like the characters.
But those
and
characters
situations,
very rarely exist outside of Linklater films. Unfortunately, they really do exist very scarcely in cinema. Of like this character who's frustrated with life and doesn't quite. That's a dime a dozen, right, in film
right.
And storytelling. But the character that explores its actual human emotion on acting upon these things, like, hey, I'm angry and I want to talk about it with someone who, at the bare minimum, will let me bend their ear. If they're not going to understand me, fine, but I need to get this out. And I think that's also a very niche exploration of loneliness. It's humanity connecting with other people who may not give a shit, but at least they're listening. And I like that aspect about Texas, specifically in Austin and El Paso, is you come across these people who are homeless or who don't have family, who are just lonely, and they just want to talk. And they just want some kind of human connection. And I think that's what Slacker is. I think it's a combination, like a collection of characters.
Then why call it Slacker?
Oh, everybody's mad at that title.
Yeah, that's my
in the Criterion essays, there's like a title that says like everything's incredible about this film except the horrible title.
Yeah, because I wouldn't consider them slackers. I would just consider them like misfits. Yeah.
No, but I mean, I also think that like the older generation,
I like that.
the parents.
It was originally called the Nobody Boy.
The
Nobody Boy, but the studio changed it.
I feel like, it's for the generation that like their parents say, hey, instead of like talking about all your mumbo jumbo hippie shit, how about you actually go get a job? Like,
right.
Like the guy who's just asking for change. He's like, hey, do you have change? Like, hey, you look like you have a strong back. Go get a job.
Yeah,
exactly. Dude, I just want quarters to get a newspaper.
Honestly, like I feel like if my dad watched this movie and looked at any of the characters, he'd be like, well, these guys just need to go and work a job and probably like do some labor.
Yeah.
Like instead of thinking about how the man's oppressing you, then go get $10 to make your own business and like fuck off.
Well, he does touch up on a little bit on like I guess in a subtle way he touches up a little bit on the hypocrisy of everybody.
Yes.
You guys spoke about the boyfriend talking about how oppressed the son is, but he's also oppressing his girlfriend. Like, no, we'll stay in.
Yeah.
Also, the guy's talking about like the Smurfs, and they're talking about the whole what is that? the whole
It's a
bargain
bribery.
thing?
Like,
bribery.
it's like, oh, if you want this, then you need to I'm gonna give you more, so you just do it. And it's like, yeah, man, and they're giving that to the kids. Pay for the beer if you give me some smokes.
Exactly.
And it's like, that's the shit we were talking about. It's like, yeah, so just give me some smokes, whatever happens. It's like,
I'll tell you something.
Absolutely, it's just that hypocrisy.
I like the hypocrisy of it, specifically when the guy's robbing the old man's bookshop or the house, whatever it is. And the guy's like, immediately you love this character because you're like, take what you want. I'm not going to call the cops on you. And then the other guy kind of lets out. He kind of gives him the gun. And then he's like, yeah, let's go take a walk. And then you're like, I love this guy. He's going to show him something. And then he's like, I want to
blow
bomb
up the Capitol.
I want to bomb everyone.
Oh my
and
God.
kill all of you.
What do you say? I missed this town's moment. We was talking about Hink or the friggin'
hitman
UT Austin
yeah.
shit. Like, Jesus
The
Christ,
bell tower guy.
man.
I love that shot. The whole turning around.
Oh, dude, we're at the Capitol and he's talking about I have maps and I want to blow it up. And then, dude, it's incredibly choreographed, well choreographed.
That was nice.
All
That
of these
was nice.
moments.
Well, when Castro was talking about like how I could just go outside and live this life, it's like the counter to that is like, but we don't. We go outside. If
That's
the guy that followed him from the coffee shop, you would have pissed him off like the first time you told him. But the guy stayed, and we heard this conversation. We heard this guy who otherwise would not have been heard speak, and we heard
For sure.
the kind of thoughts that are out there. And then, But the funny thing is, after that, you also start to realize, well, these people shouldn't be heard. These are fucking psychopaths, and these guys are people who are actually thinking that there's aliens and actually, supporting, serial killers and shooters and stuff. And you're like. All right, maybe that's why we don't talk
It's letting us know that those are real. Those aren't just
those are
made
real.
up.
Exactly.
There's a bit in How I Met Your Mother where Robin, one of the main characters, she like goes to Argentina to find herself and leaves New York. And then when she comes back, she's like hippy dippy and has braids and is like, yeah, man, like, what are we doing with life? And then there's a line that always gets me where she's like, you know what? We don't spend enough time thinking about peace. You remember when we used to think about peace? And it's like, yeah, that's cool, but you're not accomplishing peace by thinking about peace. Like, it does nothing for you.
Well, that's another one where the same guy is talking about his moment. I did this and I did that, and they come back and the daughter's like, he hasn't done any of that stuff.
Yeah,
he tells people
he went to Spain
he's
for
been there.
vacation.
He's never been there. He was never part of that. Like,
he wasn't part of the Spanish War. He just went on vacation with my mom once. Yeah, that's great. It's so great. Again, it's this different, this amalgamation of humanity and exploration, this kaleidoscope of people.
Also, to bring it on back, I mean, like, man, for at least on paper, or not on paper, but like agreed upon his first feature. God, what a massive, you know what you want to explore as a filmmaker. And I mean, I'd equate him to very much like a Lynch, where it's kind of like he's less exploring being a filmmaker and he's exploring an art form, and he's using, this is just his paintbrush, like
he's putting down the clay and just slapping it on the table and saying, I'm going to craft what seems right and what feels right and what's interesting to me. And it doesn't have to be, well, the clay has to have these brush strokes so it can have this texture. It's like, no, I'm just going to craft what I want and how I see the world and through my eyes and through what I think other people's eyes. And it's so fascinating.
I don't even see a guy who I feel like with the last couple of filmmakers, like when we talk about Wes or we talk about, what was the last one?
Damien
Chazelle. Like, they were like, oh, man, little more money and you probably could have accomplished your idea. With Wes, little less money and you probably would have been better at it. But, like, it's with this one, it's very much like, oh, man, like, you know what you want. Yeah. And this feels authentic and it feels comfortable. And then, sure, if we give you more budget, you might not even want more budget. You might just want to, like, say, I have something new I want to look at. And, I mean, like, look at the jump from, like, this to later on doing, like, before sunrise, right? Mm-hmm. And like before sunrise, you feel like, oh, it's exactly the same texture and tones as Slackers. Like,
it's like the conversation with the what's her face, the psychic, the palm reader, in Before Sunrise.
Yeah, take another. Oh,
and we're like Ethan Hawke's like, what the hell's the matter with you? Like, you just gave that woman $10 to lie to you. And she's like, no, we got to believe in the wonder in this world. And like, I love that, man. I love the different perspectives and different walks of life and getting into an argument, a healthy argument, on how you view life and why it matters to see both sides of the coin. It's so cool to me.
Since you're just such a big fan of Linklater, why don't you ever talk about Bernie?
I love Bernie. I think it's such a great story.
Haven't
It's
seen it
this
in a long
true crime bit thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I like Bernie a lot. I mean, I'm down to talk about it. It's also one of the films that has
No. I'm
Shirley
just saying,
MacLaine
like-
in it. Shirley MacLaine's like, I love that actress so much.
Yeah.
She worked with Billy Wilder, man. Like, she's been around for a minute. I love her.
I just remember when I watched
She was in The Apartment. She was the lead in The Apartment.
shit,
That's
yeah.
Shirley MacLaine, man. But also, like, McConaughey, and I don't think there's very few things I've seen Jack Black in this good dramatically.
Exactly.
He's incredible
He's
in this
still
film.
kind of,
Yeah,
it's
quirky.
humorous. Yeah, but
No, yeah, Bernie's interesting, and again, Bernie was one of those hitman stories where he was reading an article in the Houston Chronicle or whatever,
that's what I'm
and was
saying.
like,
Like, this doesn't
"Damn."
feel like Linklater.
No, but he ended up. I think he said something to the effect. I heard that Bernie. This is based on a true story. That
Yeah,
the
yeah.
character of Bernie got let out of prison for like months and lived at Linklater's house while they were like
I dig
exploring
that.
the film.
Oh, shit.
And then he did something stupid or something happened with the courts, and then he got thrown right back into prison. And but yeah, no, like Linklater really digs deep. He digs deep in like again, Hitman. It was an article he read in the newspaper of this professor turned, spy hitman for like, or posing as a hitman for somebody else to infiltrate a crime organization. And he said, that's cool. That's a cool story. And again, I love that he
I'm
thinks
liking the
that way.
style. He jumps from one to
He
another.
doesn't you can't pinpoint Linklater because he
I dig
can't
that.
pinpoint himself.
I dig that.
He's confident in his voice. He knows what he wants to do, but he's not going to let anybody tell him what he needs to explore
These
cinematically.
bears, dude. That doesn't
Me and
sound like
Orson
Linklater.
Welles is another one that doesn't get a ton of love. That one's so interesting.
Orson Welles.
It's Zac Efron.
Oh, wow.
And, I forget the actor who plays Claire Danes. Yeah, dude. Christian McKay plays Orson Welles. Does such a great job. But it's such a great exploration of the artist and Orson Welles in his younger days before he was a
Zoe Kazan.
director. Yeah, Zoe Kazan's in this, dude. And this is like Orson Welles' theater and radio days. This is before he made Citizen Kane. So it's so fascinating. But again, I love that Linklater thinks like this. He's just gonna make the films that tickle his fancy, for lack of a better phrase.
I was just expecting more like Damien Chazelle's, hers first film. Like, I don't know. I thought it was gonna be more of a blueprint towards.
Sure.
And I guess you guys can
And I
see it,
guess
but
it
I'm not.
be.
Yeah.
I think it is when you're seeing things like the Before trilogy, maybe even Boyhood in a sense. But I think it is a blueprint.
Sort of.
Whereas you love Linklater's sensitivities when he does things like Tape. Do you see Tape?
No.
Tape. Click on Tape, Rick.
No.
This was when cinema was going into digital, and Linklater's like, "Oh, I can have fun for cheap," and it's Ethan Hawke and
Uma Thurman.
Uma Thurman and Robert Sean Leonard
That's
in
it?
a motel room
Oh, that's my type of style,
arguing about
bro.
a videotape. And dude, you'd love it, guys. It's that, but again, Linklater sensitivities to just have some fun.
Sticking in one
cinematically.
location. Oh man.
Yeah, dude, you'd love this film. But I love that. I love that about Linklater.
Yeah.
That he could
Okay,
explore all of these.
I'm starting to
realms, so.
understand.
Slacker, ladies and
Wow.
gentlemen. This is one I've been wanting to talk about for a long time, and we'll talk more Linklater. Things
Yeah,
like
this
Tape
was-
and Bernie and Boyhood. We still haven't talked about Boyhood on
This
this.
was the hottest episode we've done.
Yeah,
I
the
can
heat
see
wave
that,
has
but-
hit us now.
Yeah,
Yes.
heat wave is very much in El Paso.
After this conversation, I definitely have to.
Explore it.
Go down.
No, go up on my rating.
Yeah, where you at
Yeah,
now?
I'll go up more than IMDb does.
Where you
I'll
at
go
now?
up to because it does a lot of things that you can learn from. 7.5. Am I cool with that?
That's
Am I
fine.
cool with that? 7.5. Slacker.
All right.
Next week,
Next week, or which one are we doing first?
Reservoir Dogs.
Reservoir Dogs, ladies and gentlemen. We'll do
Speaking
Reservoir
of
Dogs.
fun.
Yeah, fun.
Yes,
There's your entertainment,
our
Castro.
next,
Dear God.
our next two films this month, Castro, will be considered
Yeah.
fun.
Fun entertainment.
Yeah, they're more for the.
We're gonna
For the audience out there, they're actually making fun of you.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
we're making
Richard
fun of you.
Linklater is a one thing, but Tarantino's another, and we're gonna talk about his directorial debut, Reservoir Dogs.
Yes.
After that, we're gonna end the month with Ricky's. Very excited about this.
Not even my pick.
It's not even your pick, but this is your deal. We're gonna talk about Shaun of the Dead.
Edgar Wright.
Edgar Wright's Shaun of the Dead. It's going to be
Fantastic.
such a fun, two fun conversations, but
Nah, you
very
said fun
much. No,
enough.
hold on, very much. You didn't let me finish, but very much cinematic. Very much
Absolutely.
cinematic, and very much a lot to talk about. So, join us for those films next week, ladies and gentlemen, or the next 2 weeks, and then next month.
Is hood comedies.
Hood comedies, man.
Oh, my God.
We're gonna curate some hood.
All my
how
homies out there.
How many years we've been wanting to do this? To do a hood comedy month,
To get
where
hood?
like
get
we're
comedy?
just such big fans of a hood comedy, specifically this subgenre.
Yes.
that we want to explore it. So
Well, it's
that
gonna be
next month.
you, Castro, and Ricky. Really.
Yeah, we'll be making
We'll be
the
teaching
picks.
that awesome stuff.
So you're gonna learn today.
You gonna learn today.
I'm gonna teach. I'm gonna learn you. I'm gonna learn
Taking my
you.
white friend to do black people shit.
Quite literally. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to the Watch Our Film Podcast. See you next week. Good night, ladies and
Good night,
gentlemen.
everybody.
Love you guys.
I feel like sand.